Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who are sharing their expertise and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk, and I'm excited to dive into this conversation today because we're talking about sales, which at the end of the day, if you're not selling, somebody's staying stuck, right? So this is a really important conversation to be having when it comes to the growth of businesses. If you're new to our podcast, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. And please stay to the end because we're going to give you a special gift. But without further ado, I want to welcome my guest, Jesse Rome with Aslan Sales to the show. So welcome, Jesse, and I'm excited to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've heard a lot about the podcast. Excited to get the invite finally, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. So, can you tell us, Jesse, about a little bit about yourself, about Aslan Sales Training, and your role within it?
Yeah, great. So my name's Jesse Rome, VP of Training and Solutions over here at Aslan. I'm based in Phoenix, but from the East Coast, so I might talk a little fast, and hopefully you can slow me down there. But I had a long history in sales, working at Yelp and DoorDash, and kind of making my way up over there. But my vision was always I was always driven by impact, and so where can I maximize impact? I'm all about passion. I'm all about really kind of helping others, and so I found Aslan as really kind of the only true moral sales methodology and sales training company I had seen out in the marketplace. And so now in my current position, I oversee a team of 30 different trainers globally. And so we operate as a global training sales consulting firm. And so we help large or small sales organizations, anybody that wants help connecting and serving and influencing and ultimately driving relationships and driving more revenue. We are here to teach people how to be more other-centered and not self-centered at each stage of the sales journey.
I love that, other-centered versus self-centered, which is important, right? Selling is serving, and we need to make sure that when we're selling, we're actually, we're in the role of serving, and how do we make sure that they're reaching their goals? You mentioned you're East Coast, so where are you from, East Coast wise?
I'm from DC. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, not Florida, not as warm as where you're at, but yeah, DC, born and raised.
Yeah, curious. So awesome. So you mentioned the word moral, right? So can you talk more into that? Like what made Aslan stand out to you?
Yeah, I think what you touched on it. Like we have found that you are more fulfilled when you serve, and so people talk about that in all walks of life. But you're also more successful when you serve. And so I had never seen a lot of sales methodologies and sales training companies teach you how to ask great questions, how to negotiate, how to prospect. But the methodologies they teach are not applicable to every stage of the sales interactions. And we also find that what we teach is both applicable in the classroom and out of the classroom. And so a lot of the techniques of how do you put other people's emotions and choices and what's on their whiteboard before your own, but also like how do you relieve the pressure? How do you sell without pressure and make it more about their decision? I've even used some of these tactics of potty training my 2-year-old. And so like you can find ways inside and outside the classroom to become more other-centered, to sell without pressure. And if you give people those options and make it their decision, it's going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, you just brought up potty training, and it brings me back to some really scary memories of when I was potty training my daughter. That was rough. So
Yes.
I get it. And finally, a mom had to say, like, Heidi, just back off, just let her be, because there's so much. I felt so much pressure. Oh my gosh, all these other people are saying that their kid is potty trained, and my daughter just wasn't ready. And I'm like, sitting here with an infant, and then trying to get her going. And you said the word pressure, and that's exactly how it felt. So I know for a lot of people that analogy hits home. So Jesse, what are some of the common weaknesses that you see in sales teams, and how does Aslan Sales Training help fix those weaknesses or help with those weaknesses?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of weaknesses. I think there's change is hard, and there's a lot of change going on in a lot of different organizations, and salespeople are just hit constantly with here's your new product that you have to do, here's this new AI competition, here's all these things going on. And so what we're trying to do is get them to take a step back, and instead of feeling like you need to have the right answer, or you need to know how to overcome this objection, or you need to feel like you are the expert and you don't deserve to tell somebody advice because you're 20 years younger than them or haven't been doing it as long. It's like, take a second to become the expert, right? Take a second to truly take time in building the relationship, take time asking the questions, take time kind of building what we'll call a solution instead of just like a product that you need to sell. And when you do that, you kind of elevate yourself from being just a sales rep to being what we call a trusted partner. And so I think a big challenge is just this pressure that I have to be this product expert and that's how you're successful. But people don't want product experts anymore. I can go to ChatGPT and learn everything about your product in 20 seconds.
Right.
They want a true trusted partner that can sit there, listen to them, connect to them, and ultimately offer a piece of business advice and not just product advice.
So what's the difference between a salesperson and a trusted partner?
Yeah, great question. A salesperson is somebody that is coming in with their own agenda. Here's what I sell, and I can make commission off it. A trusted partner is somebody that's, I'm here to kind of build a relationship with you, but also learn things about your business that maybe aren't in my current scope. Let's say I sell medical devices, but you start venting to me about how you're having trouble with staffing. I don't sell a staffing solution, but I can come in there and bring a set of nurses to help train your nurses. I don't make any commission off of that, but because I've helped you with a larger business problem, you now trust me with the medical device that you want to buy a year from now. And so we're trying to get people to take time and really listen to people so that you can develop a real partnership that goes beyond just your product, so that when it comes to buying your product a year or two later, you're their go-to choice.
I love that because it's all about building relationships and connections, and that's what really matters. So let's bridge into AI, because there is, like, I think a lot of organizations are, AI is not going away. It's here to stay. So how do we keep that human connection while also, leaning into AI? So how do you help organizations find the right tools and move through that fear of, like, wait a minute, we still need that human connection there, but we also don't want to get behind the eight ball by not leveraging the AI that's available?
Yeah, this is a big topic. This is scary. I mean, we could have a whole podcast
Yeah.
just on this. And to be clear, like, I'm still figuring this out too, right? I'm playing on all the different apps and building different LLMs and really working together to figure out what's best. So we're a sales training company. And so we are in the business of adult learning. And so AI is very disruptive potentially to our business, right? And so we have to find a way. Are we either going to like fight, right? Are we going to flee, or are we going to adapt and figure out like how we can kind of work together here? And so in our position is AI does not replace adult learning, right? AI does not replace selling. However, it can help accelerate those things once you know how to do it. And so if you are a sales rep and you truly know how to sell and you want to be able to type a faster, like 10 emails in the span that it would take you to write two, great. AI is a great tool. But if you don't know how to proofread that email that AI just made for you, or you don't know how to give it the right prompts, then what are you doing? Right? And so you need to know how to sell, and then AI can make you faster. And in the same way with sales training, if we run a 2-day workshop or we run a set of micro learnings virtually, AI is not going to replace that experience, but it is replacing the traditional LMS. Here, watch this video, take this test, go back and forth, practice it with your manager. The hardest thing is managers just are way too busy now. And so what we're seeing AI do is it's actually replacing the need. Not the need, that's a strong word. It's replacing the dependency on managers to get feedback and to help you with call coaching. And so now reps in real time can ask either some sort of chat GPT model or some sort of kind of AI persona that helps you during AI feedback. Like you're doing a real role play, and then this persona will give you live feedback. You're now able to develop at a faster clip, and you're able to get answers based on whatever emails or proposals you want to send out at a faster rate. So I think those are the main ways that we're trying to suggest using AIs. You got to learn how to sell. You still got to learn how to coach, but these things can help optimize it and do it faster. Then you have all the AI agent tasks that are amazing. That's like just the admin side. That's all those tools. But in terms of driving revenue, I think, helping it optimize it on the back end can help a lot.
Yeah, I think I love that. I love the role play piece. And I'm going to say this because when I was learning sales, I never wanted to be in sales. And I love sales now. Like it's enrollment, it's conversation, and it's honestly like you said, it's serving. If you truly
Yeah.
believe that you can make a difference in this person, then it's really not selling. You're just giving them a solution that you know they're going to succeed with, and then you get the benefit and the win of seeing them succeed from it, right?
Exactly.
And it totally changes that whole quote unquote salesy feel from it. If you feel like they're not a fit, then I just don't make the offer. Like that's how I've just come to play with that. But I love the whole AI aspect of role playing, because I know when I had a role play with a human, I'm an introvert. I used to get very nervous and I would
Yeah.
sweat and get uncomfortable. And then I'm like, are they judging me? Oh my gosh, I made all these mistakes. Where with its AI, it takes a lot of the pressure off. So, and I love that you said too, like your salespeople and the training gets to move faster. They're moving through the process of becoming a really great salesperson, quote unquote, really much faster because of the AI tools that are available. So can you walk us through, I'm intrigued with your training program. So can you walk us through a business? You said, first, actually, I'm going to backtrack. Jesse, can you tell us more about who you serve? Because you said small and large businesses. So can you clarify what that looks like? Are you in a specific space? Do you serve all different companies? Is there a specific size that you are like, that's your really zone of really getting them great results? Can you tell us more about that? And then I'm going to ask my follow-up question.
Great, great. Well, I hate to say like we only serve these type of people because that would go against everything other centered I tried to say earlier. But generally our sweet spot is anybody that is looking to, connect with more individuals and ultimately like serve and influence and so grow their revenue. So any sort of account executives or any account managers, I would say the majority of our clients are account managers, people that are looking to take an existing book of business and expand that book of business, because those are more relationship-based sellers. But whether you're in the field or you're on the phones, we work with plenty and plenty of large Fortune 500 companies. We work with about 12% of the Fortune 500 right now. And so we prefer to work with the larger organizations because we can institutionalize, large change, integrate into their CRM, help them change their sales process, their methodologies. Yeah, I don't know if I can necessarily give examples of different clients. You can go onto our website and see all those. But we also have a set of partners, just like other similar sales organizations, other sales training organizations that almost have like franchise reps. So we have regional partners all over the country. So if you are a smaller group that only has 10 sellers, we have somebody that can help serve you. Or if you are a large organization that has 1,000 sellers in 20 different languages, we have that as well.
Perfect.
So hopefully that covers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you walk us through what it looks like for when a company starts working with you in the process of the training?
Perfect. Yeah. And you asked about industries. We're industry agnostic. I would say our most common industries are anything medical, pharma, manufacturing, insurance, technology. So all those worlds we're very comfortable in, and we've worked in almost every industry. So happy to go on our website and talk about that. In terms of what does our engagement process look like, if somebody were to reach out to us and be like, I need help with sales training, obviously we'd have a set of meetings to make sure it's the right fit, because at the end of the day, we're not here to tell you you need us. If you have a need, we'll show you why we're one of the best options for you, and you can make that decision. But it's a 3-stage engagement process. So like most consulting groups, it's going to start with some sort of preparation where we're going to go in, we're going to do some sort of assessment, listen to calls, do field observations, do focus groups. We're going to do some sort of alignment, and then we're going to customize the material. Most sales training companies do not customize. They have, here's a list of 30 trainings. Let's do this assessment. Okay, you need number 5. That's going to be the out of box. So we fully customize. So we're definitely like a boutique agency, and we have that competitive advantage in the market. So stage 1 is prepare. Let's make sure we build the right program unique to your role. Stage 2 is all about ignite. Let's run a workshop. Let's come to your kickoff. Let's have some fun. Like, let's get on stage. Let's get some group learning. Let's get some cohort-based activities. And let's really learn together, because nobody wants somebody to just stand on stage and listen to them for 2 days. Like, that's cool, maybe for like an hour or two, but like, let's learn and collaborate and like share experiences. So the second stage is ignite. Like, let's really learn and have a fun experience. And you'll see mindsets change. I mean, this is where people are like, this has changed my whole perspective. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this. Like, what we train is different. Hopefully you can see that by my passion and the
Absolutely.
kind of morality that's embedded into our training. Stage 3 is all about transformation. This is where it gets fun. This is where it gets unique. A lot of people talk about transformation. Take this micro learning. Let's do this coaching certification here. But what we're doing now with our new tool, it's called Aslan Plus, is like unlike what everybody else is doing in the marketplace. Like learning is hard. 90% of what you teach in the workshop will be forgotten a week later. Coaching is hard. No managers have time to do it. AI is tricky. I don't want another app. Okay, let's integrate it into your CRM. And so with Aslan Plus, we are taking all the AI stuff I talked about earlier, the role plays with the chat GPT. We're taking all of our podcasts and articles that are curated. We're taking all of our courses and we're putting it right there on their smartphone and right there into their Salesforce. So it's super cool. We're seeing a ton of momentum, and transformation is where I get really jacked up, and we can talk about measurement in a second, but like that's where we need to go. It's like the workshop is fun, but change is hard. Lasting change is hard, and that's where we're getting really good at this.
And lasting change is transformation. It's not like you're just doing it for a week and then you forgot what you did. Like you said, 90% of what you hear at a workshop is gone a week later. The transformation is it sticks and you're actually making a significant change that stays. So let's talk about measurement. What does it look like?
Yeah, we can measure workshops in a lot of different ways. There's obviously like training metrics and then there's business metrics. Training metrics, you can follow the Kirkpatrick model. It's all about like, what did you, like, how was the reaction? Like, did you like it? Here's a survey. And then it's like, what did you learn? What did you comprehend? How did you apply it? And then what were the actual business results? And traditionally, everybody struggles with measurement because you're very dependent on other people to help you get those data points. Like you're like, how many people like this podcast? You're like, I got to go ask all these people and ask for reviews, right? Like you got to go push to get notifications. And so with our new tool and how it's embedded, we're actually creating kind of this correlation engine where we're taking the usage, we're taking the completion, and we're taking the AI scoring of those capabilities, and we're combining it with your business metrics. So we can kind of create that table to see where does learning, engagement, and revenue interact. And so we have a lot of different ways to measure it is the idea here. And we do tons of certifications with coaching and training and all that kind of stuff. And so measurement gets me really excited. Everybody measures it in different ways, but the short version is you have to find ways to measure engagement as well as like how it interacts with revenue and putting that all in one world.
Yeah, you got to know your numbers, right? You got to know your
Exactly.
numbers. So let's talk about growth, Jesse. So you run a team of 30 that you have, and what have been some biggest challenges that you've had in the growth of your department and what you've seen Aslan go through as well, and how have you overcome them, or however you've seen Aslan overcome them?
Yeah, good question. Good question. I think there's a lot of like larger trends that's going on that's hitting us as well as a lot of the clients we work with. There's more noise than ever right now. Just more marketing, more messaging. So there's more competition. We believe closing is harder. And so for a lot of industries that used to operate in a certain way, since COVID, closing has just become harder. There's less in-person meetings. And because of that, there's more virtual kind of presentations and meetings. And because of that, there's more decision makers and more people that are helping out because, oh, just join the call, just hop in, right? And so there's more decisions, there's more influencers. And so based on that, we're trying to find ways to establish ourselves as trusted partners so that it can make the difference up for that relationship that we're not able to get in person anymore. And so whether that means customizing something before you walk into the room, or that means sending something over before, like how can you show that you actually care more beforehand so that you can stick out? And so lots of different trends going on. I think AI is something that we've kind of built our own kind of AI engine that helps us with our messaging. And so we've seen a lot of uptick in our email campaigns based on kind of basically training a bot based on our methodology on what is the best prospecting strategies. Now we got to go after the right mediums and find the right tools. But the other things that we're seeing trend-wise is sales enablement. I think sales enablement and sales, like in general, is really starting to transform. We're seeing a big movement in sales enablement. It used to just be like product and tech related. Like, how do I enable sales to sell these products more through education? And here's this technology to help, but we're seeing a big uptick in sales enablement now has this additional scope of how to actually upskill people, and how do I upskill, my sales reps to become better. And so we're trying to get better at helping those people without them feeling like they always have to hire a sales agency to do that. And so through trainer certification, and through kind of giving them the right ideas and deliverables, we're seeing some positive momentum. But I hate to say we figured it all out. Everybody here is still adjusting and adapting to the growing trends that are out there. But we are seeing the most success when you take the time to really get to know your customers, when you sell without pressure and you focus on relationships. And while you're doing that, keep your messaging tight with.
Yeah. Are you seeing, so you mentioned COVID and there's more decision makers that can hop on the call because we're doing more of these calls virtually. And are you seeing that the sales process has, for the majority of companies, has slowed down? It's a more of a little bit longer journey with building the relationship and building those connections. Are you seeing that, or has that not really changed in your opinion? Or is it dependent on what the product or service is at the on the end for the end user?
Yeah, I think both. I think generally speaking, there's definitely some industries that are hot, right? During certain periods of time, like people, they're more need based. But specifically, I can speak for our industry. We are definitely seeing a longer sales process where people are, going through everything, and then they're like, "Hey, let's wait on it for 3 months," and that's fine by us. Like, we'll stay on top of you, and we'll send you, some follow-up messages here and there. But I do think the average sales, timeline, at least in the B2B space where we operate, might have been, 6 months, where it's now 9 months. And so finding ways to not get pushy at the end of the quarter, because I know I've had that happen to me, and finding ways to continue to educate instead of sell, and finding ways to see something unique about where they're doing on LinkedIn or clients that they're operating with, and serve them in other ways. Like, you have to find ways to stay relevant without pushing your agenda. But yeah, I think the timeline has definitely gotten longer. What about you? Are you seeing that with some of the other clients that you've been working with?
We're seeing that as well. Yeah, the timeline's gotten longer. I think you said you hit the nail on the head with it. It's a lot of noise out there, a lot going on, and I think trust is gone down a little bit with just businesses, and the end user. So they want to make sure that you're going to be able to deliver, because a lot of people, like, I've had a client recently say, she was like, I just want to tell you thank you, because I've worked with a lot of consultants and they tend to take your money and then they disappear. You don't get that communication that you're hoping for, especially when we're in a space that we don't know, we're not comfortable with. And she's like, you and your team are always telling us what's going on, and you're explaining the reason why behind it. You're not just telling us this is what you need, you're sharing why.
Love that.
That was a huge thank you. I was like, thank you for letting us know, because that feedback's good. You want all the feedback. So I'm like, that means a lot, because the deliverable, I think a lot of companies, especially in the marketing space, which we're in, visibility marketing, they don't necessarily focus on the delivery. They're more worried about keeping that pipeline going. So I think it's important to have a balance of both. And yes, people are taking a little longer to make decisions. So, which, I think, like what you said, it's just like, okay, how do we stay relevant? How do we stay in front of you without being pushy? Because we're the same way. We don't like being pushy. We want to build that trust over time. But let's talk about that, because how are you staying visible during whether it's just getting in front of your potential new client for the first time, and even, this might be two questions and two different answers. And then how are you staying visible during that timeline of them making that decision of where they're going to be a yes to working with you? That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. How do we stay relevant both at the beginning of the sales process and the end of the sales process, I guess is what your question was. It's a hard question to answer. My go-to is always like, find ways that you can help them that doesn't have to do with what you're selling. And so in the example of, if somebody is looking for a software solution, and of course you sell a specific software solution, you might find a blog post that are, hey, here's the top 5 things to consider when looking to sell a solution. So it's not your blog, it's not promoting your product, but it's helping them kind of navigate that decision. And so finding ways to continue to educate them and show them that you are here to help them make the best decision, whether it's you or somebody else, I think is great. I've also things that have been helpful for me as I went on this 12-month journey to find the best kind of AI tool, enablement tool to use, and just plugging it in. Saleshood is the company we ended up using, so they're the ones that helped us build Aslan Plus. One tactic that I love some companies using is just kind of updates, like, hey, I know you're not ready to make a decision yet, but here's another update, or here's a recent podcast, or here's a recent article that made me think of you, and hope all is well with your family. Like things like that are actually beneficial, because the first two emails, they weren't beneficial and they weren't relevant, but the third one hit in a really timely way and made me remember you. And so just finding ways to educate. I think educate and serve would be the top two words I would think about, how you could kind of keep your pipeline fresh without feeling pushy.
Yeah, I love that. So what's next for Aslan? What's the big goals or that you're looking to achieve in the next 12 months?
Whew. Yeah, there's a lot that we're looking to get down. I think the big thing that we have not mastered, just like anybody, is this idea of referrals and kind of building a larger community that can really kind of serve each other. And so our big goal right now is how can we fill the funnel of reviews? How can we fill the funnel of our kind of LinkedIn community? How can we build some of these different channels in different regions where people can start to collaborate? And so if you love being other-centered and you are this incredible leader, but you're in a totally different industry on a different coast, how can we get people to interact more often together? So we're trying to what we call like build a fire together, because when you think about a campfire, like the s'mores don't bring people there, it's the fire, and everybody just kind of sits there and eats together and sings together. And so like, how can we build that sense of community? So that's our big goal right now, is just to leverage the tens and tens of thousands of people that we've already worked with. How can we leverage them to help each other? So I know we were talking earlier about building a community. That's something we're really focusing on. And then outside of that, how can we make prospecting more scalable? I think right now prospecting is, you can figure out a formula that sounds good, but then you just have one top rep that's doing something totally different and it's crushing it for them, but then they can't teach it to somebody else. And so what we're trying to do is not just like find a scalable prospecting approach for others, which we have according to each industry. This works here, this works there. But for ourselves as well, because everybody could always get better at prospecting. So building the fire and setting the community together to help each other, and building a scalable playbook to prospecting, leveraging AI and finding the right channels. Those are probably the biggest goals outside of the regular revenue goals and people growth goals and all those things.
Yeah, we all have those revenue goals and client goals, right?
Yeah,
And I love
exactly.
how I always say we're better together, and I lean on that all the time, especially when maybe things are challenging. I'm like, okay, how do I step away from this for a moment? And it's like, okay, focus out, right? And I love that how you phrase it. You're like other centered, and I've never heard that before. So I love that. I'm going to keep that in my mind too, like other centered. So very
Good.
cool, Jesse. Very cool. So if I could give you a magic wand and you can wave it over one challenge or issue that you're having right now that might hold you back from achieving some of the goals that you have with Aslan, and you could just go poof and take it away, what would that issue or challenge be and why?
This is one question you did not prep me with. One challenge or issue that you could poof and I don't know if I have one for this.
That's okay. No,
Give, give
this is
me.
real. This is real. And maybe you don't.
Okay.
And I've had people say like every challenge has got me to where I am now. So which I wouldn't want to take away a challenge. And maybe that's where you're at too. Like I don't really have a challenge I'd want to take away, and that's cool. So
Yeah.
yeah.
For now, that's my answer. But I mean, there's a lot of different challenges out there that we struggle with, which is just like the belief that, hey, sales training is just something temporary. The belief that my managers can do this for me. The belief that this is just like everything else. There's a lot of narratives out there about sales training that would be a lot easier if they went away. For now, I think every challenge is overcomable as long as we get to the table. And I guess if we were to kind of redo this, like what is the greatest challenge that I could overcome, is that we could get one chance with every meeting to meet somebody in person. And if we could meet somebody in person for every new client that we are looking to work with, our close ratio would double. And most importantly, our ability to serve them because we would understand them better would double as well. So that would be my new answer when I got 30 seconds to think about
That's good. So good. This is why I put you on the spot a little bit.
it. This is good.
So thank you for playing along with me. So Jesse, if I could bring you back, my last question, if I could bring you back in a year, we could revisit this conversation. What does success look like for you?
Yeah, success looks like we're really trying to figure out, like I talked about, lasting impact and lasting change. And so Aslan Plus is a huge strategic opportunity for us where we've never really had a recurring revenue model, but we've also never been fully integrated into organizational change. And so now that we will be integrated into their CRM, into their single sign-on, and really into their content library internally, with Aslan Plus a year from now, I'm hoping to see real adoption, 80%. I'm hoping to see real application where people are practicing these AI role plays and getting product certified. And I'm hoping to see real revenue that's recognized. And so whether we get more users or less users, I'm looking to see real users and real impact. And I think this whole time we have done sales training and got a lot of high fives and a lot of compliments of, so you've helped me so much, you've helped me so much. And great anecdotal stories. You helped me grow my revenue. But now we're going to see it. We're going to see real data that shows us if this is making a real impact. So a year from now, I'll hop back on and I'll tell you that data and we'll have some fun.
Absolutely. Can't wait. So Jesse, tell our listeners how they can find you, connect with you, and learn more about Aslan Sales Training.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a few different places you can catch us. If you listen to podcasts, we're on all the different podcast apps. Sales with Aslan. We're the two co-founders who we'll be chopping it up, having fun. We got a book out there. It's called Unreceptive, all about how can you kind of overcome this receptivity gap. People that are emotionally closed, how can you make them emotionally open, both in your personal life and in your professional life? Reads really, really well. We got a website, aslantraining.com. Feel free to go check out all of our different programs, resources, tools. You can download any of our different forms and playbooks so you can see if it's a good fit, and ultimately schedule a consultation with us. So feel free to fill out a form and go onto our LinkedIn and join our community. But my name's Jesse Rome. You can obviously follow me as well or reach out to me if you ever have any question or advice or are looking for some sort of mentorship in the sales training space. My door is always open, and really looking forward to connecting more with your listeners, but also your community as well, Heidi.
Absolutely. So thank you for being here. And for all of you listening, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for being here with Jesse and I. We're grateful. Make sure if you know somebody that could use more information about sales training and to help grow their business, then make sure that you share this episode with Jesse and Aslan. Again, we're better together. We talked about this. Like, the whole purpose of this podcast is because I know this, I've heard the stat that most businesses fail within the first 5 years. I want to flip that script. And I say it on every podcast. I want those numbers to change. And Jesse's helping us make those numbers change. All of our guests that come on this show are helping us with our mission of making those numbers change. We want to see more businesses flourishing and growing in their 5 years and more entrepreneurs becoming successful. And unfortunately, you can't become successful and you can't grow without selling. Sales is a huge piece of driving revenue and getting in front, making sure that you are growing your business in order to keep your doors open. So, somebody that could use this information, please share it. If you're listening and hit that subscribe button. That allows us to alert you and give you a little ding ding, letting you know that we have amazing guests like Jesse on the podcast to help you grow your business. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform like Apple, Spotify, Amazon, any of those other platforms, and you can leave a review, please do. That helps us get this episode, Jesse and Aslan Sales Training, out to more people and businesses in order to help more businesses stay open. I promised y'all a gift, so I'm going to give that to you right now. Jesse shared some great ways of how they're staying visible, networking, collaboration, community, building that up is really, really important. But there's also other amazing ways of doing it. If you're feeling like you're trying all the things and it's not sticking, then go ahead and download our Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint and grab that. It's free. It's yours. Try some of them out and let us know how they're working for you. Jesse, before we wrap up and I let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to share that I didn't ask you or we didn't talk about, touch on?
I think my last note is I feel like every day we have a decision to make in sales, and that is like, who did I help today? And so at the end of every call and at the end of every day, you can ask yourself, who did I help today? And if when you say, oh yeah, I dropped off this package or I made this call or I taught them about this product, that is not helping what problems they have. That is helping you close more revenue. And so think about the real problems that they have in their real days and how did you help that person? Whether it's somebody at the front desk that is having a bad day and you help them by making them smile, right? Or it's somebody that is a doctor or a CFO that has real issues with their staff and how did you find ways to help them? And so I think that is a really great way to think about at the end of every conversation, how did I help that person? And if you're serving, you're selling, and that it's always gonna kind of work out the right way.
Yeah, so good. Perfect way to end this. Make sure you check out their podcast. Go to aslanSalesTraining.com. Go connect with Jesse. We have all of the links inside the show notes, so go grab them there. If you're driving, couldn't catch that, don't worry. We got them in the show notes. Go back and check them out. And we thank you, Jesse, for being here with me today. Love the conversation. Definitely want to have you back in a year and revisit. Thank you all for listening to Jesse and I today, and we will see you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlights.